All right, so I guess let me open the door real quick so the dogs can come and go as they please. It'll be quieter in here that way. Snow's melting, by the way. It's just shy of 50 degrees today. So I'm gonna give the 270 another day to thaw out. I went and checked it yesterday, and I think yesterday we made it up to, it was hovering right around 35, 36 degrees. It had started to warm up. The castings were anywhere between about 25 and 32 degrees, depending on where you shot them. So I don't want to get too gung-ho, especially with that thing sitting in a shed, not exposed to actual moving air. It's going to take it a minute sitting in the shade to thaw all the way out. So anyhow, with that being said, I'm glad that my stuff showed up so I could do this video before I got into 270 videos, which hopefully happen here in the next couple days. So with my newfound hayloft up here and everything, I was tight before being able to get a tractor level and square and hooked up to the elevator coming into the original loft on this side. Now going into the loft on that side until I run this for a while and figure out a good place to possibly put in different doors and stuff and go however it ends up being. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the elevator stuffed in there and still have room to get a full-size farm tractor pointed out and hooked up to the elevator. So I guess you could call this a wanted ad. I know I got some garden tractor guys on here. They might know the better circles to ask. I mean, I could probably, I don't want to have to make a Facebook. I don't like, YouTube is already too much social. It's already enough. I don't want to have to make a Facebook to find dumb shit. And there's people that are way more knowledgeable on this stuff than me because I'm not a garden tractor guy, so they'll know people to ask. So the moral of this video is both Jacobsen and Sears made 540 power takeoff attachments to mount on the two garden tractors I have. So Jacobsen made one for their angle frame tractors like this, and then Sears made one for the Suburbans like what we got upstairs. And in order to make things easier, I went and found brochures that show what I'm looking for, so I have visual aids. We'll go upstairs and look at the Sears one in a minute. So as far as the Jake goes, and this is a cool little brochure. We're not really going to focus on the whole thing, but in case anybody wants a taste of what's in there. Some of these are Jacobsen attachments, and some of them are third-party attachments that Jacobsen was offering. So there's a lot of Brentley stuff in here, some other odds and ends. But just flip through here real quick in case anybody wants to see the whole thing. But what we are after is on the last, here on the last page. That guy right there, and in case anybody wants to see the whole last page. Anyhow, that guy right there is what I'm concerned with for this, and this is for a Jacobsen, the Jacobsen Chief tractors, which that's a Super Chief 1200 Hydro is all it is. It's just yellow. So that is the Jake version of it, and it looks like somehow it must bolt on these bolts maybe, or it's almost got to because the angles go up. Yeah, it looks like you must take the deck mounts off, and the frame must use those same bolts. So anyhow, that's the Jake version. Now this one, I would rather have the Jacobsen version if I had my druthers, just because this thing is more of the chore tractor around here, and the Sears has always got the deck on it, and the Sears one is a little bit more of a chore to mount per se. Plus this thing it needs to get some use because I don't mow with it. So if we get some hours on it, it'd be nice. So if I bought that, it gives me another excuse to get this thing out and use it. That being said, this one appears like if I can't find an original, which finding an original one would be my first choice. if I could. This looks like it would also be very easy to copy and make one that looks halfway original. So that will be my second option if this doesn't work out and I can't find an originally either this or the Sears, would be to just make one. Because all it is a big pulley, the shaft straight across. You got your angle irons for your frame, and that's probably just a pipe with bearings driven in either side of it to carry the shaft, and a stub shaft hanging out the end. So this would be super easy to copy and make one if it came to that. The only thing I don't know, unfortunately, they don't show it from the other side, so you can't tell if there's a belt tensioner with it, or, I mean, obviously this thing's got, you would shut it on and off with the clutch, but did they have a belt tensioner, or did it just, when you put it on, you pre-tension the belt, whatever. So that would be the only thing you'd kind of have to reverse engineer with brain powers to make something for tensioning the belt. So that there is the Jake version. So if there's any guys that know, any Jacobsen guys that know any other Jacobsen guys that may or may not know where to find one of those, would be nice. So now we can grab our 1969. This is the 69 Sears full line catalog, or well, their summer catalog anyhow. And the amount of stuff that is in this catalog is freaking nuts. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but it's just crazy how Sears went from everything that they sold in this to being bankrupt. Like how it's crazy. So for that tractor, we got to go all the way to the back here. This magazine's got, I mean, everything from farm implements to horse tack to fencing to yard sheds to, it's crazy how much stuff is in here. But we want to go to, should be this page right here. So there's actually two different versions for the Sears. I found pictures online of the other version, but I couldn't find a brochure to show you, and I wasn't going to try to show you a picture of a picture of a picture. So the one version of the Sears power takeoff is this guy. Try to stay out of the shadow. That guy right there, which it appears it must mount in the mule, or partially mount in the mule drive, and then it's got some other bracketry, and then this lever right here is actually a clutch to throw the belt in and out. So there's one version of the Sears 540 power takeoff, and then there's another version which I actually found in the pictures I was finding came out of a 1967 catalog. Same thing, mounts in the mule drive. That one appears to, the other one appears to mount and then actually slide in the mule drive like the deck drive, and you actually tension the belt with your foot clutch. But that one slides in, and then it's got a really tall gearbox on the front with 3 output shafts, a 540, 1000, and an engine speed. So that would be the other option for a Sears. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Like I say, my first choice would be to find either one of these original. My second option would be, if push come to shove, just copy that picture for the Jake and just make one, which I guess too, with that as a backup plan, I will need one more piece of information. It appears, because I know for sure John Deere made front power takeoffs for like the 110, 112, that series. I'm sure Jacobsen or Cub Cadet probably did. Obviously Jacobsen did. It looks like nearly all of them use that same diameter, other than the Sears, which looks like it has 2 jack shafts and some gear. That Sears one's a little bit more complicated, which is why I wouldn't try to copy that one. But at least in this case, it looks like everyone that has this kind of drive uses about that same diameter pulley, which would make sense because actually I think the Deere's probably used about that same series of Kohler, I think. Anyhow, they're probably all running about the same engine speed, so it makes sense that they're all about the same size pulley. So anybody that has or has access to like one of the Deere front mounted power takeoffs, or maybe another brand that drives like this, if you can get me a dimension of that pulley, so that, because that's the really the only thing critical is that pulley diameter. If anybody can get me a dimension for that pulley so that I know what to look for if it comes down to building one of these, would be nice too, just to have for that information. So that's basically what I had for you. I'm gonna go back out with a thermometer and reshoot the 270 and see where she's at as far as temperature, and hopefully tomorrow, even though it's supposed to rain tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow she'll be warm enough to be confident in moving. So fingers crossed that's the plan. But anyhow, that's what I got for you for today. So that being said, that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.